Hello, 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 everyone. Today, we are going to be exploring the creative writing strategy of reimagining literature. So, first off, what is reimagining literature? It is taking an existing literary work and interpreting it or transforming it in a new and innovative way. It's asking the question, what if? What if something about the story was different? What if something was changed? Now, before we can actually do this, we have to before we can change the text, we have to have a deeper understanding of what the text is in the first place. We have to analyze the text. We have to find themes, character motivations, the moral of the story. Why did the author write the story that they did? What is the purpose of the story? Really have to dive into the text before we can actually shift something about it. So we do this um, to explore the story and engage with it, engage with these timeless stories. It also allows us to reflect on our culture or societal values, challenges, issues that make them more relatable, or that can make the story more relatable to a modern audience. It allows us to explore more diverse perspectives that enable voices and experiences that were historically marginalized to be heard. It allows us to see more of the story. We get to experiment with narrative structures, genres, characterizations that foster originality and new interpretations of classic themes. This reimagining literature enriches storytelling. It makes it dynamic, relevant, and engaging. It ensures that literature will continue to evolve with society, with us. So how do we actually do this? There are many different approaches to reimagining literature, but they all kind of fall into four main categories of a point of view shift, a setting transformation, plot twists, and genre shifts. So let's break those down and look at them individually to understand them more. So the first category is a point of view shift. In this, we change the narrative perspective and it alters how a story is perceived. It allows readers to gain insights into motivations, feelings, and conflicts that may not have been apparent in the original narrative. We get to really get inside a different character's head because everyone's a hero in their own story. Shifting the perspective allows us to have a different insight to the story itself. So if we were to reimagine Cinderella, what if it were told from the stepmother's perspective? This would allow us to have a deeper understanding of the character's motivations. It would allow us to perhaps feel more sympathy for a character that is seen as the villain. Maybe every time the stepmother looks at Cinderella, she sees her dead husband. She's reminded of how much she lost when her husband died. By reimagining a different perspective, it allows us to maybe relate to a different character more. It allows us to see a different side that we haven't seen before. The second category is setting transformations. This relocates the story to a different time or place, and it highlights how themes and character dynamics might change under new circumstances. We can explore cultural, social, and historical influences on the narrative itself. So, for example, what if Romeo and Juliet were set in a contemporary high school? This would create parallels with modern day issues such as peer pressure, family expectations, and social media's impact on relationships. Instead of the friar sending a letter, maybe he sends an email to the students, Romeo and Juliet. How would um, modern technology influence the story? How would um, putting the students in a school setting change the story? It's more relatable to modern audiences because it's something that we can relate. It's something we can relate to because we've lived it. We have all walked down the hallways of a high school and interacted with teachers. That's something familiar to us. It allows us to put these characters into a situation where that we've experienced How does that change the story? The third category is plot twist, a change in the plot. It's introducing unexpected plot development, something that is different from the original plot mountain of the original story. How would these characters react in different situations? So, for example, Harry Potter. What if, instead of being raised by the Dursleys, Harry was raised by Hagrid? How would that change the events of the story and aspects of both Harry and Hagrid's characters? What would look different for Harry if he had been raised by Hagrid? Well, he would have been introduced to magic much sooner. He would have been raised potentially more similarly to the Weasleys, where they use magic for everything in their house. Their house is even held up by magic. We get to see how integral magic is to his life. How would exploring that change his motivations, change the actions of the story? Lastly, we have a shift in genre. So they can explore different themes and emotional tones. Um, while still, or the same stories can be told in a different genre of text. This leads to humorous, tragic, or even absurd interpretations of the original work. Like in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies by Seth Grahame-Smith, it turns Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen into a horror genre. We get to read a more dark story with suspenseful moments rather than a classic tale, a classic romance with comedic elements. But it still explores the same themes of class and marriage and how the character dynamics and how the characters interact with each other. It allows us to see more of the story in a different light. So I challenge everyone to try it out. Pick a story that's familiar to you. It can be anything, something you read for class, something you read as a kid, a story your mom used to tell you before bed. How could it be reimagined? What is something that could be changed? Ask yourself the question, what if? The possibilities are endless. Don't limit yourself. Have fun with it. Get creative. I am so excited to hear what all of you come up with, all the stories you choose to reimagine, and what you change from the original story. Come to class prepared to discuss your ideas and your reimagined tale. We'll be doing an activity that will involve them. So I am so excited. Happy thinking, happy reimagining. Good luck. I'll see you in class whenever we meet next.